I'm Pat McGibbon. I'm here to share with you what's gone on in the U.S. Manufacturing Technology Order Reports for June. June USMTO orders were up 56% from May levels and only down 6% from June 19 levels. That's fantastic. The $347 million that were put into new orders posted in June seemed like a pretty normal month if it was, say, 2019 or 2018. In the midst of this pandemic, it's amazing. For the first 5 months of the year, the manufacturing technology order market was down 31%. Now, the stupendous bounce back in June brought the first half of 2020 to within 74% of last year's first half figure of $2.3 billion. Perhaps this downturn will not be as deep as we first thought. As Doug Wood said in the press release that was released this morning on USMTO report, given the level of uncertainty of businesses are facing, strong June orders are a sign of the underlying health of the manufacturing sector. And we've said all along that this is an artificial recession, and that as soon as we can get the issue put away, in other words, as soon as we can defeat the coronavirus, then recovery would begin, and there was strength there to see it back. Still, we are not going to have a quick recovery. It'll be a long and slow move back to where we were at the beginning of 2020 or at the end of 2019. Some of the highlights from the report. Cancellations for June were not only significantly below the monthly average for 2020, but they were significantly below the average for the last 10 years. That's a pretty good number. 14 of the 27 industries that make up the report, in other words, 27 industries add up to the total number for USMTO orders. 14 of those, over half, actually had better June order numbers in 2020 than they had in June of 2019. Now, I had to have the product report double checked because that just seemed too awesome to be true. I looked at it and saw all this green in the column for the year-over-year increases, but it was right. And when you take a look at what it did on a month-to-month basis, June over May of 2020, 19 of 27 industries had a better June than they did in May. Now, the share of orders placed by the job shop industry dropped a bit. Their market share actually declined as a share of the whole set of orders because the market grew at a faster pace than orders from the job shop industry, allowing and recognizing that some other industries actually made some significant ground with their growth in orders in June of 2020. In the press release that was released again this morning, it mentions agricultural equipment and the HVAC sectors. But there were some other places, some traditional ones. In fact, the auto and aerospace both made really strong gains and posted great numbers in June of 2020 as well. When you talk about it regionally, the West and Northeast regions took the hardest hits in May, so it's no surprise that they also had the largest growth levels in June. Both regions nearly doubled their May order levels. The South Central region, even though it was up 25% in June from May, it's still having a great deal of struggles. Oil prices have almost tripled since mid-April to $40 at the end of July, beginning of August. But the region's drilling and development in the oil and gas area has plummeted and is still holding down the business activity levels. On the upside, we've gotten a number of reports saying that Texas is getting a great deal of new investment in renewable energy development, high-tech industries, and the manufacturing of some consumer products. But those are opportunities that are most likely to result in orders in manufacturing technology in 2021. Majority of the members that shared their July experiences expressed expectations that good numbers were what we're going to see in July as well. Maybe not as grand as those in June, but still better than they were expecting, given the level of business they see out there and their inability to get into customers' facilities to make face-to-face pitches about new technology. Now, while we have some more stories this month of customers having rough times, some even closing their doors until at least they can work out at a different pace than they currently are. And many of those are not sure they're going to have the resources to be able to reopen those doors. Several participants in the program have noted that limit product lines or territories in hard-hit areas like the South Central are challenges that they just may not be able to come with the resources they're going to have after they can get back to doing business. Still, we have participants that are hiring for old and new positions to build out sales territories or to help in expanding installation and service capacity. Business related to engine components for both automotive and for engine and turbines were up in July and June. Firearms and valves were also two areas that there was a lot of strong quotation activity for in July. July 2019 was one of the better months last year. So seeing a better July 2020 posting than it did in the previous year, it would be a bit of a surprise. But higher quotations, members out there hiring people, key customers posting better order numbers than they did in 2019, a 56% growth in orders in June, and the Purchasing Manager Index going for the second month into the expansion level, machine service expanding. These all seem to provide some hope that while recovery hasn't started, maybe the downturn won't hurt as much as we thought it would at the beginning. Still, even if we have a shallower decline, that doesn't mean we can expect for the recovery to be any faster than it will take, because as Mark Killen said back in May, this isn't going to be an easy recovery. There's going to be a number of places that are going to be significantly damaged by the lack of business, and in many cases, just quite literally shutting down. That didn't happen in 2009. No one shut down. Everybody was still out there pitching and working, but we had a great deal of period where everything just stopped. And as a result, to get the wheels turning again, it's going to be a little bit more difficult than we experienced in 2009. So with that, be all the best and be safe until next week, when I'll come back and talk a little bit more about what's going on in the economy. Take care.